Welcome to the Dad Shoes Podcast, the dad group you don't have to go to
Connor, are you wearing a mask?
in my own house.
You're wearing a mask in your own house.
Yes.
Why?
Well, you see, John, I have come down with COVID.
Why did you do that? That doesn't seem like a very good decision.
I don't know. I think it was my mom's fault, but I don't want to blame her. You know?
Oh my gosh, Mom.
So I made a decision today.
What's your decision?
I want to show it to you.
I want to see it.
You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I've been wondering why I got no video from you.
So I turn my video on. So there I am, wearing my mask.
Look at you, cutie.
Yeah, and I'm gonna reveal. You ready?
Yep. Oh no. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Put the turtle away.
I have shaved my beard.
Why did you do that?
Well, you know, COVID makes you do crazy things.
That's apparently a thing.
Yeah, so I'm wearing a mask in my own house during the day. I tested positive Sunday night. My wife tested positive this morning.
Oh, nuts.
And the kids seem fine. We are pretending that they are not going to get COVID. So,
why would they?
Why would they? I'm wearing a mask. And I thought, you know what? The mask was just kind of sitting weird on my chin with my chin hair. So I just kind of started and didn't stop. But you know what? I should have stopped at the mustache because I think it would look pretty good. I don't hate it this time. And every once in a while, you just need a clean face. You just gotta.
You know
start
what it
fresh.
is? Your lips are. You have a small mouth.
I have a small mouth, and I did not realize that. Like I knew I had a small mouth, but I looked in the mirror after I shaved, and I was like, I got a small mouth. Maybe I can talk.
I gotta start talking with my mouth wide.
It makes my cheeks look real big.
So my thing, I've got a round face because I'm fat, but I also have no chin. Like no, there's a word for it where like you're like your lips go like directly into your neck. Like you've got like under chin but no chin. I don't have that. My chin isn't. It's very small. I have a very small chin, and so the last time I shaved, I'm like, man, like I don't have a very. I don't have a chin. I got no chin. So like. Because of that, I decided the last time I shaved, I wasn't going to do that again because I have no chin.
Yeah, every once in a while, you just need a fresh start, I feel. And it definitely de-ages me quite a bit. I don't know if
you're going to go into school and those, excuse me, those kids are going to think they got a new student.
I know, man. Well, so the last time they tried to guess my age, one girl said that she thought I was 42. So maybe this is in response to that. But I thought...
technically, I'm middle-aged, so...
My thought process was, like, it was just the mask was not sitting well on my beard. And so at first I trimmed it, and I just kind of took it all down to like a 3 or a 2. And I just thought, you know what? I've gone this far. Might as well go all the way. But...
Might as well.
You know what? It kind of had the opposite effect, because I have this mask. It's a cloth mask, but I have these inserts in it that are supposed to make it, safe.
Yeah.
And now it just suctions to my face.
Oh, well that's because it's freshly shaved.
Yes. I don't have any buffer that's filtering the air through my beard.
So I got a buddy who he's always clean shaved. And he when COVID first hit, he had he works at a car dealer and he had to wear a mask at work. And he stopped shaving. Because it was that for that reason. It feels really weird when you've got this thing like suctioning, sticking to your face. And so he didn't really grow a beard, but he like did that like 3-day beard kind of deal. And that was better for him. It actually looked really good on him. So I think maybe if I may, like don't shave again. Like if you want to keep it short, just do like take the guard off the clippers and do that.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice though, because I went all the way, man. I went baby smooth. Because it's nice to feel the breeze on your chin. Like that's kind of refreshing.
There was a while where like I would shave every once in a while, and I swear, man, every day, every time I did that for like 3 or 4 years. the day after I shaved was the coldest day of the year. And
Really wakes you up.
Oh yeah, but it hadn't been cold at all. So like it's December and it's 85 degrees, right? So I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna shave. So I shave, and the next day it's 30 degrees. Like, are you freaking kidding me? And it's not like the beard adds so much warmth, because my chin still gets cold and it doesn't get too hot in the summer. But when it goes from having a blanket to nothing, and the temperature
it's a
is
windbreaker,
50-degree difference. Yeah.
It's a good windbreaker. So
it was like the whole deal.
So you've had COVID. This is my first time.
I did. Yeah.
This is my first time having COVID. You had COVID before. How did that go with your family? What was the timeline?
Oh, it was annoying. I work in an industry where I don't really interact with people. And when I do interact with them, it's usually at a distance. So I have been able to work. Really soon after getting the positive. And the only reason I took the test that time was because I've been exposed to it. I don't remember who exactly, but I got exposed. I've been exposed a few times because of the industry I work in. And but ironically, I haven't gotten sick from it, at least I don't think. So I have. There's a couple of ways that immunity works, and this, I don't know why I'm getting on this topic, but like a mild exposure over an extended period of time, like if you keep getting exposed to something, you'll build up an immunity to it, or at least that's the theory. And so there's a theory that people like me who are out in the workforce, who weren't like, oh, let me go sit down in an office with 10 people who have it, but like I'm around it periodically, that people like me would have a built-up immunity to it already. So, like, if I did get it, it would be much more mild.
Sure.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I just know that is
it's a theory.
Predating COVID theory.
Yeah. Man, you know what? I was talking about this with my mom, because this is like just thinking about COVID and pre-COVID, because I work in public high school.
Yeah.
And I am now so aware of germs. I don't know. Sometime in the last year, I became real germaphobe. But I think beside that, I'm just so aware of like, wow, there's all these kids coming in my room, and I don't know where they've been. I don't know who they've been in contact with. I mean, my neighbor teacher, he wears a mask in the hallway every day. And that's because he doesn't want to bring it home. When he goes into his classroom, he will take the mask off, I believe, is what it seems. But when he's in the hallway with everybody else, and I just remember being in high school and just not caring. Like, it just was not a thought that I had, that, hey, there's germs all over this place.
Oh, yeah.
I shouldn't eat this food off of my desk that hundreds of kids have touched. It just wasn't a thought. And now,
that's so funny.
Society is more aware. I don't think it's just me.
You and I have had different experiences.
Why did you think about germs when you were in high school?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, your high school was a little bit more touchy feely, I think. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, but like, I just like, I've always had this like sensory thing. Like, if my hands are dirty, I gotta wash them. So like, I don't like sticky things. I don't like maple syrup. I don't like honey, and I love to eat them. But if any of it gets on me, I could go take a shower and completely change my clothes for the rest of the day and be happy. Like, I do not like sticky things. Mm-hmm. I don't like being dirty and sticky, and that I don't know, that like, it's just a weird sensory thing. But like, if you grab a door handle at high school, they're so gross. I was constantly washing my hands in school.
Yeah.
Like, I would just go to the bathroom and wash my hands.
I just wasn't thinking about it. I mean, maybe in a normal amount. If somebody was sneezing or coughing, it was like, oh, let me go wash my hands. Or if I was sneezing or coughing.
Right.
But
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Like,
I'm all about the 5-second rule. So I get the irony here. But like,
I mean, I have cases of sanitary wipes in my classroom. And it's like, well, I need to be using these. I'm not going to.
Like Lysol?
Yeah, well, they're some other brand, but they are sanitizing wipes. They are.
I'd be like on the way in, all right, kids, grab a wipe down your desk.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should start doing that. So, and I don't know. I don't think I got this from the school. I don't think. We have a link
maybe. I don't want to call her out, but yeah. So in my household, I tested because I had a very low grade fever on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I woke up not feeling great. And you know what? The night before, we were with you guys, so I hope you guys are all doing well. Because we had no idea on Saturday. Felt fine on Saturday.
No.
Yeah. But when we were with you, we had that pizza, which was delicious, but it did not agree with my system.
I think which one?
I think I ate too much.
Pieces.
I think I had 2 slices, and I ate a lot of that stromboli.
Yeah,
and I think that stromboli was just so greasy.
It is
that
delicious.
It's so good, and it just did not sit well with me. So I was up throughout the night, like just not feeling well.
Man.
So when I woke up in the morning, I thought, well, maybe I just didn't get enough sleep. You know? And so I went to do my normal thing, went to church, and I came home and just wanted to crash, and I just kind of sat in my chair and took a nap. And then later that afternoon, I felt kind of warm. So I was getting ready to make dinner, and I thought, wow, I think I'm feeling kind of sick. Let me just take a COVID test. I have them here. I will feel better making dinner for everybody when I have a negative test. And let me tell you, it did not make me feel better. Did not help.
That's hilarious, and
I was just with my family like all day. Like I wish I kind of thought of it sooner.
Yeah.
So that night, I went over to my mom's house. She also tested positive, so we kind of quarantined together for the day. And then last night is when my wife started saying, "Hey, I'm feeling kind of achy," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly how I felt," and I'm sorry.
That's a bummer.
So the kids seem fine, and this is kind of what I wanted to ask you about. The kids seem fine. Am I just kidding myself? Like thinking I'm doing anything to protect these kids? Like Marcy and I are wearing our masks. Like we've had the house open, like windows, everything open all day.
It's been a beautiful day for that too.
Tomorrow's supposed to be hot, so we'll see. And just we're trying. I'm not wiping every surface. I'm trying to wash my hands before I interact with the kids. I'm keeping my mask on. The kids were in the backyard almost all day today, which is beautiful. But I feel like I don't want them to get sick, but I would also really hate for them to start getting sick on Friday,
when
which
you're
is
getting
my
better.
Last day of like quarantine, quote unquote, and then launch into a whole other 5 days of this at least.
Right. So the way I'm trying to remember how we did this. I think we got it from school, and my wife came. Yeah. So my wife.
So your
comes
source
home.
was the kids.
What was it?
You think?
Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So my wife comes home from work, and she'd just gone back to work. So she comes home from work, and she's like, I'm just really not feeling well. I feel sick. I'm like, well, let's take a COVID test. So she took one, I took one, and mine's negative, hers is positive. So I'm like, listen, we'll do the quarantine thing. You hang out in here, and I'll go pick up the kids. So I pick up the kids, and I think I took them somewhere. Like we went out somewhere, and then I tested them like the next morning or something. Like it was like Friday night or something. I tested the girls, and then the baby had it. The little one had it, but not the older one. So it was like, okay, well, we'll just keep them separate. You and mommy are going to sleep in one room, and then that's fine. And I'm really confused because
somehow you went from half of you to having it to all of you having it.
No,
or did the older one ever get it?
She never got it. I ended up with it.
Wow.
And it was like, are you kidding me? And so it ended up being the three of us had it, and one didn't, and was like, nope, you stay away from your sister, and what you need, stay away. I'll get it for you from a distance. Kind of deal.
It's just so hard. I mean, your house is a little bit bigger than ours.
Yeah. And we have 2 bathrooms.
We only have 1 bathroom, which is killer. When any of us get sick, like any kind of sickness, having 1 bathroom is the worst. But I don't know, man. Like I stayed away. I stayed at my mom's house yesterday, and it feels like a total waste of a day now. Like waste of my wife's sanity. She was just toast by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then she had COVID. So,
but she
we're
didn't
trying.
and right.
You know, we're not hugging on the kids and kissing the kids, but the kids are like, you tell my daughter, you like, don't touch me, like I'm sick. And what is she going to do?
She's going to come touch you.
She's going to come touch you because you said don't. You know, and they're constantly like, they're starting to put it together a little bit because I was putting my son to bed last night and I was like, hey, can you hold the book? Like you hold the book and I'll kind of read over your shoulder. And he's like, why? I said, well, I don't want to touch it. He's like, yeah, but you just touched that. Like you just touched the door. Why can you touch that but not the book? I was like, Titus, be quiet. Like, son, we're going to bed.
Son, just don't.
Fine, I will hold the book, okay?
I think because we've been going through, like, we've talked about this nighttime routine a bunch. Mm-hmm. And we kind of go through, like, phases. Right now, I'm reading the girls The Hobbit. And I just finished reading them Harry Potter. And, I mean, they're 4 and 3, so... Do they get it? Probably not. Is it just the sound of my voice putting them to sleep? Probably. But at the time, we were all falling asleep watching Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So it worked out perfect. It was like, well, and then whenever we were around them, we had a mask on.
Yeah.
And the baby kept wearing her mask. She was cool with wearing a mask in the house. It was fine.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't go back to school. Because you had to, until certain days after the...
Sure. Well, and we didn't send our kids to school. We kind of made that decision. We really thought
that was really nice of you.
We almost sent them this morning. We almost... Because they seem fine. I tested my son Sunday night.
Yeah.
And he was negative. I tested him because he said, like, oh, I have a headache, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then we tested my daughter in the morning, Monday morning.
And what was she?
And she was negative too.
That wasn't the morning. That was the afternoon.
Was it afternoon?
Did
I text you about that? We tested her at some point.
I was on the phone with you before you went over to do it.
Maybe. It must have been the afternoon because I didn't tell my wife. I slept until like 10 when I stayed at my mom's house. It was beautiful.
Nice.
I didn't tell my wife that part. I just decided I'm going to sleep as long as I can while I'm away.
Get it while you can, man.
I know. And my mom's got it. She's fine. Like, so she says she's asymptomatic. She's coughing. Like, she's coughing a lot. But she's like, I cough all the time. Like, I didn't think it was COVID. I thought it was something else. Like, I thought it was just my normal thing.
It's really funny because I've got this Tourette's associated cough. I think it's two things. It's become a tick of mine, but I have this, like, I'm allergic to cats, and I have a cat.
Have a cat, yeah.
So I got this, like, sinus thing that makes me cough, but it's not all the time. So, like, once I'm not at home, I shouldn't be being affected by it. I just cough because it's a tick now. So, it's something I do. And then people are like, well, do you have a cough? It's like, yes, I have a cough, but it's not from COVID. I've had this cough for at least 4 years. Yeah. It is not at the beginning of COVID. It is not associated with COVID. So
yeah. Well, and overall, we are like, it's mild cold symptoms. Like I had a low grade fever on Sunday. I'm coughing a little. I'm congested, but other than that, we're fine. Like, I'm tired. I'm
when
weak,
you called me, I'm
good.
like, dude, all day Sunday, I've had this sinus headache. I've been congested, and I'm like, dude, I got it. And
it's the worst.
And I just tested again, like it's 7:00. I just tested, and it's negative. So
yeah, I don't know. And it seems like, because we were talking about this too, like, what is a COVID symptom? It feels like everything's a COVID symptom now.
Yeah.
Because when I recently had hand, foot, and mouth. My 31st year has not been a very healthy year for me. I'm hoping 32 is a little better. So I had hand, foot, and mouth, and I went to urgent care, and I just had these spots on my hands, what it was. And I went to urgent care, and the doctor said, well, it's either hand, foot, and mouth, or it's COVID. It's like, why would it be COVID? Like, what? Nobody has said spots equals COVID.
Right.
But it's just, it's viral, and the viruses do weird things, I guess. I'm not a doctor. So she gave me a COVID test when I went, and it was negative. And so I was like, well, this must be hand, foot, and mouth. And somehow, by a miracle, we kept my family from getting that one from me.
Yeah.
I wore a mask inside. I wash my hands all the time. And that's kind of what we're doing now. Is Marcy and I are both wearing masks around the kids, trying to keep distance. I've been sitting on the porch a lot today just to stay outside.
Well, like we said, it's been a beautiful day, so
it's been nice. And I'm wondering, like, the worst part is we just cleaned our house.
Yeah,
like sanitize the table, like steam mops the floors Saturday morning. And now we have COVID in the house, and I feel like my house is filthy again. But what's the point in cleaning it now? I have to wait.
Yeah, just give it a week and then do this. Like, man,
it's so inconvenient.
Your house is such a pain in the butt.
And this is just so inconvenient, and I'm trying to.
So I've become
embrace it, you know.
Yeah, I've become more like it's endemic now, right? So everybody's gonna get it. It's not the end of the world if you do. Generally speaking, it's not as bad as it was in 2020.
Yeah,
not nearly as bad as it was in 2020. And even then, I think the majority of the people that got it then had mild symptoms. And this is just me, my thoughts on this. Just like deductive reasoning kind of deal. Like, a lot of people got really, really sick and died. And that is not a good thing. And I don't mean to make light of it.
No, that's what really sucks about this is it feels so light to me.
Right.
But you never know. You know?
Right,
like
because
you never know how it's going to affect anybody. And people die from the flu. People die from all kinds of stuff. And now people die from COVID. And you never know who's grandma's who's at risk, who's going to get it. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. It's tough, and so sometimes I do feel like an idiot. Like,
why?
I feel like the only one who like cares, and I know you care. I don't mean like that, but like
you go out into a room of people and nobody's wearing a mask, and you're wearing a mask,
and they've been saying on the news for a while, like, hey, you should probably start wearing your mask again outside. Because it's triple threat right now.
Yeah.
This winter with flu and COVID and RSV. Mm-hmm. But then you get people who are like, man, I don't care. I have had COVID. I was fine. I don't care.
I mean, generally, I don't care. Like that's like my go-to default. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I get sick. I don't generally get sick, so I don't care. Right. But then but this is different.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was different, and now it's just
the thing.
I don't know, and I feel it may just be that I'm like burnt out from caring because I haven't had the opportunity to actually care about it. Like I got the vaccines as soon as I could. But I've been out in the public nonstop since day one. So we were slow for 2 weeks after everything shut down, and like we went from working 6 days a week to 4 days a week. And then 2 weeks later, we were back to 5 days a week, fully busy again. We had guys working 6 days again. So it's like we never slowed down. We never really stopped. So I've been being out with it the whole time. And while I'm cognizant and cautious about it, it's just like,
just changing subject. Like my wife is folding laundry right now, and it's like, is it even worth it to do laundry? Like, am I gonna have to clean all that again? How long does this?
Nah, you'll be fine. No,
by the time it goes through the house, like we'll all be immune to whatever this particular strain is, I guess.
Well, that too.
So we shouldn't get sick anymore from it, and it'll eventually die before.
But it doesn't linger on surfaces like we thought it did.
No, and that is one of the. It really seems like. And that's why I'm convincing myself that wearing my mask around my kids is going to help, because it's not secreting from my body. It's It's in my breath. So if I can contain my breath, I'm not breathing on my kids. If I'm washing my hands regularly,
theoretically, you're not producing all that much virus.
Right.
So it shouldn't be circulating.
As long as they don't come sing on my microphone tomorrow.
Right.
It should be okay. I did have to wash my squishy thing, my pop filter, because Titus, if my microphone is on my desk, they do like come in and they'll start singing songs, and so Titus comes up to it and right up on it, sneezes full on, like nose contacts, I got really close to my mic for that one. Nose contacts the pop filter and sneezed. And I was like, you, how could you? Like, do you know what you've done?
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Man, this children.
That's kids, right?
Kids.
But no, the worst. I wanted to show you something also.
Yeah. Oh, you're healing up, huh?
Yeah, I took my stitches out today.
Ew. You took your stitches out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to clarify.
So people don't know this yet, but I did a number on my finger 2 weeks ago, and I don't do hospitals and I don't do stitches, and I just it just doesn't. It's not my scene. So I sliced my finger open, and I was really pissed because it's on the inside of my hand, on my ring finger, and it's like it's in a really inconvenient spot, and I'm like, all right, it's fine, it'll be fine, and I was pissed, but it'll be fine. So I got it wrapped up in paper towels. I finish the job I'm working on because that's just what I do. And I go and I take the paper towel off to look at it, and I see bone, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, I mean, this is bad. So I called my boss, like, hey, man, I got to go to the hospital. So, yeah, so I get stitches. Well, the point of this, and you can cut that out if you like. The point of this, I'm sitting in the hospital, in the emergency room, because this is the second time in my life I've had stitches, because my mom was impatient when I was a kid. She's like, I'm not taking you to the hospital. It's going to take forever. She put a butterfly bandage on whatever. And normally I'll just duct tape it or super glue it or something like that, right? Like, not whatever. I don't normally use super glue, but like I have in a pinch. But like I'm in the hospital, in the emergency room, in the hallway, and the lady I am facing, she's facing me, is coughing up a storm. And fortunately I had a mask on, but I didn't have a mask with me because I don't wear it anymore. Right. So, fortunately, they're like, no, you should wear a mask while you're at the hospital. So, I put a mask on. It was great. I'm like, thank God I got this thing on. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to get COVID because I cut my finger open.
I know. And that's like something my mom would say. She's like, well, don't go to the doctor. You're going to catch something there.
Right.
And not from don't go to the doctor. It's a waste of time kind of standpoint. It's just you don't know what you're going to catch there. Like, go if you need to.
Right. You see, that was the thing. It was like, no, I need to get this taken care of, so I need to be there. And if I get COVID, then, well, I needed to get my finger fixed. But, like, generally, I don't go to the doctor because I don't need to. It's like, I know what you're going to tell me. Just, can we do this over the phone?
Just make it a little easier for me to get antibiotics when I need it, and we'll be good.
Right. Antibiotics, maybe some painkillers. Something strong to clear my head. Like, I would love like an industrial strength Mucinex.
Oh, wow.
That'd be fantastic, dude. I could breathe. Man, that'd be good.
That'd be beautiful. And just kind of putting myself back into like when I was in high school. If I felt like this before COVID was a thing, I would just go about my business. Like, I wouldn't stay home sick. Like, I don't feel sick. I'm congested.
And I were different kids.
Were we? Would you have stayed home?
No. I would not have gone to school, though. I probably would have gone to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I made the excuse, no, it's going to clean me out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The salt water.
Yeah.
I should go to the beach tomorrow. That might be good.
Go to the beach tomorrow, man.
I was thinking about taking the kids to the park or something because, like, my wife is still working, so she's working from home.
That's good. Take them to the beach,
which is good. We need the money. That's the worst part is if I'm sick, I can't work.
Right.
And that sucks.
No, when you work in an industry that's you've got to be on site. I think you should be remote as much as possible. And like, I can't. I work with physical. I'm physically. Right. I need to be there. You are in a classroom with students who are there, so you could theoretically remote in, but they're not going to set that up.
No, I'm still just a sub.
Yep. I mean, even if you weren't.
I almost emailed like my contact and said like, hey, well, I had like lesson plans for this week. and like worksheets and stuff. Should I send that to you so the kids don't have to do this lame book work you have for them?
Right.
I thought, nah, I better not. Like,
maybe you should have.
I mean, I don't know that they've accepted this because the school didn't give me a timeline. I emailed them and said, hey, I tested positive last night. Mm-hmm. I'll keep you posted. You know, CDC guidelines say that the earliest I should go back to school is Friday.
Yeah.
According to the guidelines. And that's if like I have no symptoms by then.
Right.
Or by Wednesday? If by Wednesday I have no symptoms, I can go back.
It's 5 days.
Yeah. Well, it's 5 days because I text one of my friends who's had COVID twice. And I was like, hey, what's the rules here? Like, what do we do now? And he said it's after 5 days, you can go back without a negative test if you've had no symptoms for 2 days. So if day 3, you don't have any more symptoms, I guess it'd be on day 6, after 5 days, you can go back to work. And you should wear a mask for 10 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I don't know, like the school hasn't said that. I think honestly, they're just waiting for me to be like, all right, I'm better. Like they'd probably let me in tomorrow.
So that was like I've got a whole like employer-employee health relationship thing to talk about because I had this same topic about my finger. It's like one thing that I do, just it's what I do. I finished my job, the job I was working on, because what am I going to do? Just leave it undone? You know? Leave the glass out of the car?
Sure.
That's helpful to anybody. So I wrapped my finger up and I did the best I could and I got it taken care of. And I mean, it didn't really hurt. So it wasn't like I was crippled and only able to use one hand. I was still using it. You know, and I isolated the blood. I didn't get blood everywhere. So, I mean, that's just what I do as a person. But then I went to the hospital. I was in the hospital. I got a tetanus shot. I got stitches. And then I left the hospital with my hand in more pain than when I'd left. And it's funny because it really didn't hurt. Then I got a lidocaine injection, which made it completely numb. But my finger hadn't swollen until then. So it hurts. Then I go back to work and I did the rest of the work I had for that day. Yeah. You know, it's like
you gotta do it, I guess.
I gotta do the work, right?
Yeah.
But then fortunately this was kind of a minor thing. I needed the stitches because it wouldn't have healed right otherwise. It's only been 2 weeks and it's fairly well healed. But like if you're sick and you need to not be at work, the doctors are always like, well, or the employers are always like, well, how you doing today? Can you come back? Can you come back? Yeah. Oh, you're better. You say you're better now? Awesome. They don't actually care if you're actually better or if you should be back. They just want somebody filling the spot doing the work.
Yeah.
So
it's a shame. I mean, the work's got to get done. Like
the work's got to get done.
It's got to get done somehow.
Right.
So it's a shame.
So I'm not mad at them.
It's
for
come
that,
to
but
that.
like
No. But it's sucks for me. Sucks for you. Like if you can't go to work, you can't get paid. Like this makes you want to
go to work sick and hurt.
You know, like sorry. Yeah. Not trying to get out of work here, but I also, you know, and at the end of the day, like my wife gets paid significantly more than I do. So when the kids are sick, I'm the one who's stepping out. So that's just the way it is. So I don't know. It's not been fun. It's not bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. And the kids, we've talked about this a little bit before. My son does not like going to school, and I hate that. I don't know why. I wish I knew, but he does not like going to school, so he will tell me he's sick when he's not because he wants to stay home. Is he just
bored there?
I think, you know, and we could probably dig into that more later. I think part of it it's bored. I think part of it is he doesn't like being left alone. Not that he's left alone at school, but he doesn't like being away from us. Like there's a little bit of that separation anxiety.
Huh.
I mean, this kid says his favorite thing about Disney World is the fact that we all get to sleep in the same room. You know, like it's not the parks, it's the hotel room, and he loves that. He's very, what's a not negative word? Attached.
Yeah.
Loving,
Yeah.
And
no, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
It might be boredom too. Like, he definitely has some of that. Once he figures something out, he breezes through it, without necessarily reading the instructions. Like, you give him a piece of paper and you say, circle all the 7s you see. And you tell him that. He'll circle all the 7s. And then you give him the same piece of paper. And this time you say, circle all the 5s. He has already circled all the 7s before you finish your sentence. Because he's like, oh, I've seen this before. Like, I know what to do. Yeah. So
that's funny.
Fault him for that if you want, I guess. I think he's just learned what you wanted him to do with that piece of paper.
Give him another piece of paper.
Give something that looks different. So, right. Anyway, but he'll say he's sick. So I had to say to him like Monday night, or even maybe it was today. I was like, look, dude, you're not going to school all week. Are you feeling sick? Like, be real. And he's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm okay.
Like, you jerk.
Good. Like, tell me. Because last night he's like, my leg hurts. I was like, Titus said, that has nothing to do with what I have. So nice try. But my leg, like,
so my wife and I both have
my
wife and I both have herniated discs in our neck.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a herniated disc in my lower back, but we're not playing the one-upsmanship here. The point is,
we're not comparing sizes here.
Not comparing. My daughter, because we roughhouse, right? That's just kind of what we do.
Yeah.
And then it comes to a point where, listen, honey, I can't anymore. My neck hurts. And I say it, my wife says it. And the other day, my daughter says, I asked her to go do something. She goes, oh, I can't. My neck hurts. I'm like, you little. No, it doesn't. Go do your work. Go do what I asked. Yeah. They pick it up, man.
They pay attention. If it's an excuse for you, it's an excuse for them.
Yeah. And you know what? It is.
Dang smart kids.
Yeah. Smart kids. Amen. Anyways, Connor, yeah. I hope you continue to feel better.
Yeah. Well, my mom is just bored out of her mind. She feels fine. She should
work from home.
She totally
could
agree.
Work from
That's
home.
A totally separate.
And then she wouldn't need to be around people she doesn't like being around.
That's a totally separate. I wish she would. Yeah, I was sitting with her most of the day yesterday, and she's like, "What? We can't just sit here all day and watch TV." I was like, "Yeah, we can."
Yeah, Mom, we can.
As a matter of fact, so
you could have gone out and got pickleballs and pickleballed with her.
We could have. I don't know. I don't think my mom could pickleball.
She could pickleball.
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. She's like looking. She keeps reading the CDC website, like looking for loopholes. Because like today,
if anything explains your mom with COVID, that is it.
She's like, "Where's the loophole that says if I feel okay, I'm fine?" And I'm like, "Mom, they're guidelines. They're not rules. Like nobody's gonna be like mad at you. Just put a mask on. You'll be fine.
Put a mask on and go.
Just if you really want to." And we've been debating what day 0 is for her. She swears she started feeling sick on Friday. And I told her it was Thursday when she told me that. And so she's counting her days. And so she's like, today's day 5. And I'm like, no, Mom, you said, but if Friday is your day 0, then tomorrow's your day 5. And she's like, no, not happening. I was like, well, then you were sick on Thursday. Okay. Trust me. And she didn't test at all. The only reason she tested is because I tested and I was positive. And I said, well, Mom, if you feel anything, like any random kind of cold symptom is a COVID symptom now.
Yeah.
Just if you got a test, take one. So
I feel like as a responsible citizen, we should be testing all the time. Like if you've got some weird cold symptom, you should be testing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Now,
I mean, that's COVID.
Yeah.
It's just about anything. It's a cold. And everybody says, oh, it's just like a cold. So if you think you have a cold, you might have COVID.
Yeah, really.
And it's not that bad. It's not that bad for most people. But imagine a world where we all stayed home when we were sick.
Dude.
With anything. and we felt the freedom to do so. I don't know.
But here's the other,
I don't want to get
side
too
of that.
political.
Imagine a world where nobody stays home. Imagine not staying home because I feel fine, and your coworker has cancer.
Yeah.
And they're going through chemo, and they get COVID because you decided I don't want to go to work, or I don't want to stay home. And now they die because they've got cancer, and they're going through chemo, and their immune system's already like shot.
Yeah.
You know, just imagine the imagine.
Yeah, so, and I think for me that is the real reason we kept the kids home.
Yeah,
is they might be fine. They're not showing any symptoms, but for all I know, they're carrying.
Yeah,
you know, they've got to be. We're cooking all their food. We're filling all their cups. We're prepping their toothbrushes.
Using your mask.
I'm wearing my mask. Yeah,
but as long as you wash your hands and it's not on their stuff, so
they should be fine. But I wouldn't want to be the reason people at the school go home with COVID. You know,
right?
And that's ultimately the end of the day why I choose to stay home. And that's for me. And if it's not for you, then I guess it's not for you. If you're not worried about it, I'm not going to tell you to worry about it. But for me, I will stay home, and I choose to do this because I know that I'm not going to be responsible for others getting sick.
I don't know. That is part of our social contract. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Dad Shoes Podcast. The dad group you don't have to go to and get COVID because you didn't go.
Yay.
Have y'all had COVID? Let us know your experience. And
how'd you keep your kids from getting it?
How'd you keep your kids from getting it, or did you keep your kids from getting it?
That was okay. Pause, because there's one of the question I wanted to ask. Would you ever intentionally get your kids sick?
That, my friend, is a different episode.
Is it?
And no.
I've had that thought multiple times in the last 2 months.
Have you heard of like chickenpox parties?
Yes. Yeah. I have. I went to them. I didn't get chickenpox at them miraculously. My mom told me, she brought me to multiple chickenpox parties, and I just didn't get it. I've had 2 chickenpox vaccines though, and you're only supposed to do that one once.
They have a chickenpox vaccine?
Yeah. I got it when I was a kid, and then I got it again when I was 15 because they lost my shot record, and my arm swelled up so big.
Pause. Put a pin in this. We'll come back to this with Dr. Eric, because I need a physician.
Sure. We'll ask Dr. Eric about this, and have some more. He'll have some thoughts, I'm sure.
So anyways, you can reach us at Dad Shoes Pod on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye.
Peace.